This is the Angry Reviewer, and I'm gonna do a video on the Spider-Man films. My thoughts, what I think, what I don't think, what I think is good, what I don't think is good, what I like, what I dislike, shit like that. But first things first, in front of this video, I want to say RIP Bill Paxton. He made a great Hudson. He was good as Billy in Twister. He did good in Mighty Joe Young. Loved him in Near Dark. Loved him in Tombstone. Loved him in Terminator. Loved him in Predator 2. And the list goes on and on and on. The dude could act. He was a stand-up vato, and my hat's off to him. May he rest in peace and be comforted wherever he's at. That being said, on to my review of the Spider-Man films. First off, let me get this out of the way. I know many of you are going to say, well, you should mention the Tom Holland film. I will once I see it and that comes out. I think Tom Holland's going to make an excellent Spider-Man. I love the way he looked when I saw him in Captain America Civil War. But let's face it, that was more a Captain America film than it was an Avengers film. And they really didn't show much of Holland. They just showed what he's going to be doing. And from all the commercials I've been seeing, all this shit, I think he's fine for the role, and he's going to do good as Peter Parker. And as Spider-Man, Marissa Tomei is going to be a great Aunt May. Robert Downey Jr., we already know, is a great Tony Stark. And the list goes on. Michael Keaton's going to be a great Vulture. Hopefully we'll see more. We might get another shot at Venom, hopefully. Hopefully they'll tease Carnage. Okay, well, now that that's out of the way, and who's in front of the TV with Spider-Man on, that's Sheba, my partner in these films. Well, now that that's out of the way, let's get started with our review of the Spider-Man films. I want to throw this out there so that way I don't get my ass torn up too bad by my subscribers for my opinions on the film. I always have been, always will be, and always am gonna be a Tobey Maguire fan. I always felt Tobey Maguire was a better Spider-Man for the simple fact that he pulled off Peter Parker to a T. And he brought a sense of stability to the Spider-Man character. When he did something, you felt it. It wasn't just like, he was Spider-Man, no big deal. And you didn't feel nothing for the character. You actually felt it. Kirsten Dunst also made the film great. So did James Franco. And so did William Dafoe. He was great as the Green Goblin. Now, Spider-Man 3, you could tell Tobey at that point stopped caring about the Spider-Man character. He was good with what he was given, but he wasn't good enough. That's just my opinion. Topher Grace should have never been Venom. I have no idea I just know the guy that played Lowell on Wings was the Sandman. He was a fine choice for... Hey! Sorry about that. That was my cat acting like a crackhead. He was a fine choice for Sandman. I would love to see him again. Maybe one of Tom Holland's films. Hint, hint. maybe get Jason Momoa to play Venom. Hint, hint. I mean, I just felt that Tobey Maguire made the all-around better Spider-Man. And no, it wasn't because it was Sam Raimi directed and shit. It was because I felt he brought more to the character. Now, I'm not taking nothing away from Andrew Garfield or Emma Stone. They did great. He was great. Garfield was great also as Spider-Man, and Stone was good as Gwen Stacy. I really bought into her being Gwen Stacy, and I really bought into Garfield being Spider-Man. That being said, Jamie Foxx, I don't care what people say, was good as Electro. The dude that played Rhino and the dude that played the Green Goblin in The Amazing Spider-Man 2, I don't know who the fuck they were, and I really don't care. I've seen the dude that played Rhino before, I don't know his name, and I really don't care to know his name. He was just alright. The dude that played Green Goblin, he was tolerable. I'm going to use that word for him. He was tolerable. Now, William Dafoe was great as Green Goblin in the Spider-Man that I'm watching. He was great as Green Goblin. James Franco was great as Peter's friend, Harry. Kirsten Dunst was great as Mary Jane. I really felt for these characters, and I really thought they did a good job. But that's my opinion. Now, Spider-Man 2, Alfred Molina owned as Doc Ock. Alfred Molina owned as Doc Ock. I don't know who played Aunt May, but she was perfect. Tobey Maguire again killed. As Spider-Man. In Spider-Man 2, Alfred Molina was great as Doc Ock, and the lady that played Aunt May was awesome. And again, Dunst brought it. So did Franco. Then you get to part 3, and you really don't feel for Dunst. You really don't. You really don't buy Topher Grace as Venom. He just didn't fit there. There's times and there's certain characters for certain people, and that character just wasn't for him. He was great in Predators as the psychotic doctor, but Spider-Man 3, not so much, because Venom didn't fit him. He didn't even look the part of Eddie Brock. Tobey Maguire at that point was starting to wind down, and you could really tell he was starting not to give a shit, so you felt it when he played Spider-Man in that film. And it wasn't necessarily his fault, it was a result of too many cooks in one kitchen, and they didn't know what direction they wanted to pull the film into. I read an interview somewhere where Venom wasn't even supposed to be in Spider-Man 3. They were going to focus more on Sandman and Harry Osborn's transformation into the Green Goblin. Him taking his father's mantle. And they were thinking of throwing Hobgoblin in there just for good measure. But since it leaked out to the fans that, hint, hint, Venom was going to be in Spider-Man 3, Sam Raimi had no choice but to add him into the film. He didn't even really want to. Once he read the script and the finished product, he thought the film was crap. And I must say, that's one time I do agree with the director. It's not that the film was crap, it's that there was too many cooks in one kitchen. And that film was getting pulled in all directions. It didn't know what it wanted to do. It suffered what The Amazing Spider-Man 2 suffered from. Too many villains in one film. Now, I have to be honest, Amazing Spider-Man 2 was 10 times way more better than Spider-Man 3. Jamie Foxx pulled off Electro. I don't know who the vato was that played Rhino. He was useless. The vato that played the Green Goblin was useless. Emma Stone was great as usual as Gwen Stacy. Andrew Garfield played a great Spider-Man. Damn shame they let him go too soon before we got a part 3. And part 3 was going to be dope because they were actually, heard this through the grapevine and read it myself, gonna add Carnage and Venom into the film and try to sneak in Dormammu, of all people. I would have loved to see what they done with Dormammu. I really would have. And I would have loved to see what they did with Carnage and Venom. And I would have loved to see who was going to play them. But again, that's just me. But it didn't happen. When the film got made, it was shit. And you could just tell and feel that the characters didn't give a shit at that point about their characters and what they were doing, and it showed through the film. So that kind of brought it down. That kind of brought it down to a 3-star rating out of a 3 out of 10 rating. Spider-Man 2 gets a 9 out of 10. Spider-Man 1 gets the same, an 8 out of 10. 1, because the film was great all around. 2, I love the appearance of Macho Man Randy Savage. And 3, since it was the first film in Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man series, it is kind of slow starting, but after a while it picks up and it just it puts its feet to the ground and just starts running, and it takes off from there. So of course I'm gonna prop it for all that it's done. And of course I'm gonna give props to part 2 because I love Albert Molina as Doc Ock. I love Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man. I loved Kirsten Dunst as Mary Jane Watson. And James Franco as Green Goblin. And the list goes on and on. Same goes for 3, except for 3, that's a 4 out of 10. Maguire, Franco, and Dunst, you could just tell that they didn't give a shit about the roles that they were playing anymore at that point. Topher Grace should have never been Venom. And the dude that played Sandman, they should have just incorporated him into Andrew Garfield's film and it would have been fine. Found a way to incorporate him in there. He was good as Sandman. Sad thing is, we ain't never going to be able to see that again. Now, as for the first Amazing Spider-Man film, let me start off by saying onto the Amazing Spider-Man films. As for the first Amazing Spider-Man film, I felt it was good. And like I said, I liked Andrew Garfield just fine as Spider-Man. I felt he brought more to the sciencey side of Peter Parker than Tobey Maguire did. Emma Stone is always a nice eye candy. So she's always something to look at, no matter what, in any film. So You feel for her. And I thought she made it great. Gwen Stacy. My opinion, though. Don't know who the dude was that played Kurt Connors, but he did a good job as the Lizard. It's just that I couldn't really buy the Lizard character, his transformation. I thought his transformation was shit. It looked like shit, and it was shit, because they made the Lizard look too humanoid than lizardish. And I know that's not a word, but that's a word I'm going to use for my fucking video. He looked too humanoid than lizardish. And that's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. But pretty much the film was the same shit. Peter gets his powers, Uncle Ben gets killed, Peter learns to use the power, yada yada, he defeats the lizard, and the dude from Rescue Me and Dennis Leary. I hope I said that right. Because I don't think it was Dennis Leary, but you know who I'm talking about, the dude from Rescue Me. And he's done other films. Was great as Gwen Stacy's dad. So, the first Amazing Spider-Man was really nothing to write home about. It was good. Was it great? Nah. Was it the best? No. Was it the worst? Nope. Spider-Man 3 is always going to be the worst. I give Amazing Spider-Man 1 a 7 out of 10 for the simple fact it's enjoyable, it's mindless fun, and you can get into it no matter what you're doing. Now on to Amazing Spider-Man 2. Now here's where things get tricky. I'm teeter-tottering in between a 7 out of 10 and an 8 out of 10. I want to give it an 8 out of 10 for the simple fact that I like Jamie Foxx's Electro. And I just felt it was an all-around step up, a better step up from Amazing Spider-Man 1. That's why I'm leaning more towards the 8 out of 10 than the 7 out of 10. But I want to give it a 7 out of 10 because the Rhino was completely useless. Green Goblin was completely useless. They weren't utilized right. But that's my opinion. But I'm not going to hold that against the film because it wasn't Andrew Garfield's fault, it wasn't Emma Stone's fault, and it wasn't Jamie Foxx's fault. It was whoever wrote the fucking script's fault. So, I'm going to go ahead and give it its 8 out of 10 rating. I think you'll enjoy it. I know I do. It's mindless fun. Don't read too much into it. And you'll be fine. Just sit back, relax, turn your fucking brain off, and have some fun with the film. Now on to Spider-Man Homecoming with Tom Holland. Again, what I saw of Tom Holland as Spider-Man in Captain America Civil War, he's gonna take the mantle and run with it and make the films his own. And I think that's great. Marissa Tomei is gonna look hot as Aunt May, which Marissa Tomei automatically looks hot. So that's not really a bad thing. It's a good thing. I think Tom Holland's gonna own. I think he's gonna take the film and run with it. I think he's gonna be fine. I don't think that there's gonna be anything to worry about. I'm a little iffy on the whole Zendaya as Mary Jane Watson. But you know, Zendaya's nice eye candy for someone Tom Holland's age. She's something nice to look at. They can easily color her hair red and she should be fine. That's just my opinion. I mean, I'd like to look at Zendaya. Who wouldn't? But that's just my opinion alone. From what I've seen of the film, I want to give it a 9 out of 10. But I'll see if my rating stands once the film comes out and I actually watch it. Well, This has been my review of the Spider-Man films and my explanations of why I like them. The next time I'm going to be reviewing more Marvel movies, and I'm going to be doing them a couple at a time. My next review should be on the Fantastic Four films with Jessica Alba and Chris Pine. Um, I'll keep you updated as to when that's gonna happen. This is the Angry Reviewer. I'm me, you're you. This is Sheba already asleep. She got tuckered out because she didn't want to be on camera for that long. And we're out.